Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. I'm here today to do day 2 of the 7-day challenge set by Baby Steps Reborn Treasures. I think that I'm hoping I got it right that time, because this is take 5, and once you start getting it wrong it just won't go right then, will it? But so I'm sorry Teresa, it's not intentional. Today I've got my Reva Schick family, and they are like a sort of collection within my collection really, and they are very special. They are the core really. I've got my favourites. I've got my two absolute favourites. So Lydia is my favourite girl and Tristan is my favourite boy, and I mean I adore all the rest as well, but they are like real favourites. And then this is like the core of my collection as well, in a sort of a way, because these have they are supposed to be the same baby at different ages, but also my late mum had this collection. Not these particular dolls, except for one. We'll come to that in a minute. And you might hear hubby singing because he doesn't know I'm filming, so just ignore him. I do. So yes, so he's put me off now. So at the back I've got Angelica. It took me a long time to find an Angelica kit. In the end I had to get one from Germany and get it shipped over to the UK. And that's Ava. So she is the big baby at the back, just in case you don't know, and she is the same size as a 5 to 6 year old child, wears 5 to 6 year old clothing. And then on her left is my Ariana toddler, and she is Seren. Seren is a Welsh name and it means star, and she was actually my late mum's toddler, and she did have blonde hair and I changed her hair. And she did, my mum also had an Angelica of her own that had lovely blonde hair called Alice. Hang on a second. Right, that's sorted that out. Yeah, so my mum had her own Angelica, and she was called Alice May, after my great-grandmother. Actually, I think my phone's not quite straight. 2 seconds. I think that's a bit better, isn't it? I have a knack of having my tripod wonky. I don't know how I do it. After Mum passed, she wanted me to look after her girls. They were her 2 girls. And, well, not after she died, she's like, I'm leaving all my Reborn collection to you, and you can do what you like with it. You can give it away, you can keep it, you can sell it, you can do whatever you like. And actually, I was going to sell it and give the proceeds to charity for the Marie Curie and keep 1 or 2. But you know what happens when people die. A lot of them went missing because people descend like vultures, don't they? And I did manage to save the 2 girls and a few others, which mostly I gave away in the end, because I just couldn't deal with all the sorting out and everything when it actually came to it. But I did sell the Angelica because I'd never had such a big doll ever. The biggest doll I'd ever had was 22 inches, and she was just seemed massive to me, and I didn't know where I was going to put her or anything. And I sold it and I regretted it always, and I still do. And then I think that was really what triggered me to, as the years went by, to slowly collect a Reva Schick family of my own, the same as Mum had had. Now hers was more vast than mine. She had the Rebecca and the Maya and you know, all different ones from Reva Schick, and they were all part of her collection, and she made them all herself. But I thought I would have the Angelica, and then Angelica in a younger version, which is the Ariana, and then the Ariella is the younger one again, which is the one on Ava's lap, my Narnia. And then down here is the sleeping Noah, and this is Reuben, and he did start off as a girl and he was Alice May after my great-grandmother, and because I thought it'd be nice to carry that on. And me and Mum had a thing about Noah's. I showed her, if you go onto Bushel and Peck's site, she's got a baby Noah and it's got a striped t-shirt on, and she's put that picture back up now. And that was the first sleeping Noah I ever saw, and it was on eBay. And I sent the picture over to my mum and I said, oh my goodness Mum, look at this beautiful baby, or words to that effect. And we both became obsessed with Noah's. And it is a wonderful sculpt, and over 10 years later they're still popular which is amazing really when you think about it, in today's climate of limited edition sculpts and short lives on a lot of them. Everyone's scrambling to pay a lot of money for sculpts that are going to go out of production soon, which is all a game really, but we all fall for it because we all want the beautiful sculpts. But you can still buy Noahs and still get Noahs, and he's still popular. And some of the others are harder. I think the Ariana is probably easier to get hold of, and the Tatiana is really cute as well. She looks just like Ariana, but she's got a slightly sulky face, so she would make quite a good twin actually for Seren. But I would never go through all the hassle of getting a wig again, so she'd never look exactly the same, because the two girls at the back there, just pan up so you can see, understand what I'm talking about. The two girls have wigs. I didn't want to root Ava, being so big, for one thing, and also I wanted really long hair right down to her bum, so like my girls had when they were young. So there was no way that I was going to manage all that, I didn't think. So I went for a wig, and it was a nightmare to get. It was a load of hassle. And then also I had the same problem getting one for Seren years ago. It was a load of hassle. So I promised myself I'm never doing it again. They're either going to be a baldy and be rooted if I decide to at some point, or otherwise they're going to have whatever hair I can root, because I just can't be dealing with the hassle. And by the time I've gone through all the hassle, which takes 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks to get a decent wig and find it and buy it and get it made and get it sent to you and all the rest of it, I could have rooted it. So they will be rooted from now on. Yeah, so the final one for the collection was Narnia, who's on Ava's lap, and I made her in April. All of these I made myself. Well, no, I didn't make them all myself, actually, tell a lie. I made Narnia, which is the Ariella on Ava's lap. I made Ava. Seren is like a co-production between me and Mum. Mum made her originally, and she had white blonde hair, and Mum had painted her very, very pale, and I wanted to change her and make her into, like, I wanted to keep her because she was Mum's. I didn't want to part with her, but also I wanted to make her my own. So I changed her painting and brought the colour up more. I changed her eyes into glass eyes because she didn't have glass eyes, and I got her the wig because, again, going back then, she was the biggest doll that I had, so I didn't think I could root it, but now I would definitely give it a go, because I've done 2 toddlers and I've done a child-sized doll. My Shay, as she is now, which is the Alenka by Natalie Blick, in the size of a 2 to 3 year old, tall 2 to 3 year old and slim, but basically that sort of size. And I rooted her as well. She did have a wig originally, and she did look really cute, but I just wanted to change it into hair, so I did. And it took a long time to root her, but and she's got human hair. Abby, that you saw yesterday, has got human hair, and Jameson, because his is shorter, he's got mohair. And I always use Lillian Trigg mohair. I like it. It's my go-to one. Though Narnia does have Tinkerbell's premium mohair, but and it's lovely, but it's very fluffy and cotton woolly. It's very similar to my nan's hair. When it always reminds me of that, and it's very difficult to keep nice. So even though I like it, and I like the way it's slightly wild, and I think that's because it reminds me of my nan actually, but I don't think I'd buy it again, to be honest. Sorry, Tinkerbell, but it's just so hard to keep nice, and you've only got to lay her down or do anything, and her hair is just knots and mats, and it's a nightmare. Yes, so this is my, God, the minutes are going on. This is my Reva Schick family, and I just absolutely love these. Usually Ava is sat in the living room. She's got a little own reclining armchair. And then sometimes I swap the other babies around for a change, but she is usually sat there watching telly with us. And take it back down to my beautiful boy, Reuben James. Look at him, because he's not really getting a focus, is he? And he did start off as Alice May, as I was saying, and if you go right the way back down to the bottom of my videos, you will see a few very basic videos, that my first ever attempts to try and keep something to remember the box opening by, which was very basic actually, and didn't really have anything very much in it that was nice or presented well or anything really. But it was the first one, and you know, I didn't capture it very well, but I thoroughly enjoyed Lydia's recently, which was my second ever and first proper box opening. That was amazing. I loved that. It was fantastic. So have a look at that video too. It's only 3 weeks ago, just over 3 weeks ago now, 3.5 weeks, and it was a beautiful box opening, and she is absolutely adorable. And she is the only baby out of all of them, however fond I've got of them, that I actually take around over with me like as if she's a real child. I think my hubby thinks I'm starting to get dementia, but I'm not. I'm just really taken with her, and I like to take her around and I can look at her. I was sewing, if I'm sewing or crafting, I like to put her in the rope basket that I've got in the craft room. It's one of those changing baskets, and I lay her in there, and it looks really sweet actually as a bed. I put her in there, and she lays in there, and I'll be sewing away or crafting away, and then every now and again I'll have a little look across and oh, she's so cute. And then in the evening, or when I'm in the living room, she's in the living room in the rocking napper, and she lays in there, and she's really sweet. But I just like to have her around, and I really get a lot of pleasure from it. So and I don't care what anyone else thinks. Though Teagan did embarrass me when we went out on our last pram walk, because it's only my second one, and I'm just getting into it, and I do enjoy it, and I do enjoy the fact that I can put a baby in my pram and put the apron on the front excuse me, and buckle it up, and nobody can see what's inside. So then I've got a choice of whether I show the babies inside or not, and I like that because we live in a very small town, so you're going to bump into people you know. Now my friends are not going to take any notice because it's just me being me, and you know, my excuse is always I'm filming, which I am, and so they're not going to take that much notice. They might think, oh, you know, I wouldn't be able to do it, or I'm not that brave, but they're not really going to take that much notice. But the rest of the time, obviously, the baby is hidden away in the pram, and I actually enjoy taking the pram out. You know, a lot of these things to do with our reborns bring back memories, don't they, of our own children, and times, you know, pleasures that we had with our own children, and also I can lean on it. And I've also got the advantages that you get when you've got a pram. You know, when you can put your shopping underneath, and you can, you know, it's practical. You don't have to carry your bag, and I use a walking stick or sometimes a walker if I'm going to be out like for a day trip or do a lot of walking, so I can sit down now and again. And but now I can lean on the pram, and I can put underneath my umbrella, and I can hang my bag over the handle, and or I can put my purse inside the cover. I can do whatever I like. If I pick up anything down the shops, I can put it underneath. I don't have to carry it, and I'm having a lovely walk at the same time. So I like that. But we did go into M&Co, and we were going to try and film, but there wasn't many people in there. And it's often quiet because it's a little bit more one of the more expensive little shops in town, really. And you don't get a great deal of many people in there at the time usually. So I thought that would be an ideal one to go in. They have nice things, even though their baby range is very small in store. And we'll go in and we'll have a little look and probably get to film. But you know, when you go into a shop and then the assistant is watching you all the time and hanging around, and you just feel really self-conscious. So we didn't really get a lot done, and I gave up in the end because it just making me feel uncomfortable. And then we're starting to walk out of the shop, and we had to walk past one of the assistants who's just stood there, and she says to Teagan, who's got her toddler Chase in his buggy, how lovely he was and how he looked so real, and she thought he was real for a moment. So of course we stopped to talk, and I said, you know, Teagan made him himself and told her about him and everything. And then I just started to get ready to walk away, and Teagan says, and there's one in there too, pointing to my pram. So I nearly died. So I had to then pretend that I didn't care less, because that's what I do when things get embarrassing, if I can. Pretend like, oh yeah, I do this every day and I'm never embarrassed. And I still, yeah, and put the hood back a bit so she could see. And she looked inside, and even though she got her mask on, you could sort of see this quizzical look on her face. And I just smiled and carried on like it was a perfectly normal thing to do, and you do it every day of the week. And you know, if you, because obviously, you know, in our hobby we're used to it. We don't take any notice, and a lot of us treat them just like babies. And some people, you know, keep them on a shelf, and they're just really are a collection. But I just carried on like as if I either had a real baby in there or it was a perfectly normal thing to do, and I did it all the time. And it happened twice on that day, because when we went out and we got to the corner before we turn out into the street and our flats, my next door neighbour and one of the ladies from the flats downstairs, her really close friend, was stood on the corner talking. And of course my neighbour's fine, and she loves my collection. She thinks they're beautiful, and she's always telling everybody, oh, you should see Dee's collection, they're beautiful. And so she's, you know, keen to have a look and all the rest of it. And she's saying to the other lady, and you know, have a look and tell her about my dolls and everything. And she looked, and you could see she was like, I don't really know what's happening. Which was highly amusing. And I'm carrying on just the same, because then I'm like, oh my god, she's like, she's like, and my next door neighbour, her name's Jean, and she's saying to her, have a look, Sue, isn't she beautiful? Because Lydia was in the pram and all this sort of thing. And then she looked in, and you could see like, well, I'd really rather not, and I'd really rather get out of this conversation as fast as possible if I can. So I had it twice in one day. But because we try and get out of the flat, get into the lift, and hope that nobody else appears, get out the building and then start walking out, because otherwise I'll have the whole block talking about me and my strange habits. But I don't really care, and one part of me is like, the more of us that do it, the more normal it becomes, or at least, you know, accepted, or it's just one of those women with the dolls or something like that. I don't know, but the more you get something out into the normal everyday life, the more normal it becomes. Anything in life is strange to start. You know, it doesn't matter what it is. Social media, everyone was terrified of it at the start, and a lot of people still are. Computers, there's still some older people who are frightened of computers. There's all sorts of things in life that not knowing makes us go back into our medieval brain, and we react to it in different ways. But generally, most people you know, come across the dolls usually through Tegan taking hers out when she's here. She'll take him to the beach and this sort of thing, and then most people are really nice about it, you know, and they are fascinated. Some people don't really quite know what to make of it, which isn't their fault. They might never have come across them before, and they're just thinking about it because they've got no clue of the hobby. And I think that's really at the crux of a lot of the problems that we get with other people making nasty comments or thinking that we're all a bit mental or something. Is that they don't understand. So the more you get it out there, the more you do it, the more you make it a normal practice, you know, then, I mean, for God's sake, people go and watch grown men kick around a ball, of all things, for whatever many minutes, roll around on the grass, so they've just been spitting all over, putting their jumpers over their heads and running around like toddlers, waiting to bump into something. And we pay them 50 grand a week and think they're marvellous and treat them like gods and act like Aztecs at a temple for a sacrifice. You know, it's just amazing, really. So if that can be normal, then I'm sorry, my hobby's perfectly normal. So there you go. So I've rambled on long enough. I'm going to put up this video today, and I'm also going to put up Lydia's change video for day 24, I think it is. I don't know what it is, but as soon as I look on my computer and I see the saved videos, I know where I am. I look on my channel, I know where I am. As soon as I go on film and I have to say what day it is, it just pops straight out of my brain and I can't remember. But I should be back on with that one as well at some point today. And Lydia will be wearing a dress that I made for her with little unicorns and fairy castles and things all over it. And then we'll be back tomorrow with something else. So it'll be a different little brood tomorrow. And we'll have Lydia tomorrow for day 25, I think it will be then. And obviously some more of my babies from my collection until I've worked through them all. So I hope you enjoyed seeing my little Reva Schick family today. So I'll just reintroduce them before I go. The Angelica at the back is, or I say at the back because she's the biggest, bless her, is Ava, and she's Ava Marie. And then next to her is Seren. I've kept the name Mum gave her, which was just Seren, and left it at that. And then that's Narnia Joy on her lap, and she's the Ariella, asleep, which they only do asleep actually. And then down the bottom is little sleeping Noah, which is, and his name is Reuben James. And they're all, it's absolutely gorgeous sculpts, these are. Absolutely love them. So I hope you enjoyed watching and finding out about some more of my babies and seeing some more of my collection. And I shall be back tomorrow. So take care, everyone. Have a lovely, lovely Sunday, and look after yourselves and each other. Stay safe. Lots of love. Bye. Bye-bye.